Have you ever finally settled into bed tired from the day, your body aching for rest, only to be yanked out of your precious sleep a couple hours later by that all too familiar urge to pee? Again and again, you wake up groggy. Your legs are heavy. Your mind feels like it never really shut down at all. If you're over 60, chances are this nighttime interruption has become a stubborn part of your nightly routine. But what if I told you that the answer doesn't always lie in medication or endless doctor visits? What if your dinner plate could hold the key to a better night's sleep? That's right. Some of the simplest vegetables, yes, the ones sitting quietly in your crisper drawer, may be the most powerful allies your bladder has been waiting for. Nighttime urination, also known as nocturia, becomes more common with age. Hormone changes, weakened bladder muscles, prostate issues, or overactive bladder nerves can all play a part. But here's the hidden piece. Many people miss the foods we eat, especially in the late afternoon or evening, can either aggravate or soothe the bladder. They can shift how fluid is handled, how inflammation behaves, and how well your kidneys regulate nighttime balance. This is not about drinking less water. It's about supporting the body to do what it wants to do, naturally rest and restore. So let's dive into the first quiet helper. Pumpkin. Yes, that humble orange squash you may only think about during autumn. But for seniors dealing with bladder issues, pumpkin is a nutritional powerhouse. The flesh is high in beta-carotene, which calms internal inflammation, something critical when your bladder lining is irritated. Fiber in pumpkin also regulates digestion, which helps prevent constipation. And when your bowels are moving well, they don't press on your bladder, which means fewer false signals to go. But don't overlook the seeds. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc and magnesium, two minerals that help tone the bladder wall and support the prostate, especially in older men. I remember talking to a retired mechanic named Walt. He started adding a tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds to his oatmeal every morning. Within 3 weeks, he said, "My bladder didn't feel like it was yelling at me anymore." It didn't fix everything, but it gave him hours of uninterrupted rest, and that made him feel like himself again. Now let's turn to something cool and crisp. Cucumbers. You might think, aren't cucumbers mostly water? Won't that make me go more? But here's the surprising truth when eaten at the right time of day. Earlier, not closer to bedtime, cucumbers actually help your body release retained fluids steadily throughout the day. That means there's less left to dump into your bladder when you finally lay your head down. They also contain anti-inflammatory compounds that calm the bladder lining, especially helpful if you feel that constant low-level irritation that makes you feel like you have to go even when there's hardly anything in the tank. One woman I knew, Marlene, swore by her daily lunch: salad, lettuce, tomato, half a cucumber, and a dash of lemon juice. No more bloating, no more bladder spasms at midnight, just steady calm. Now comes a quiet, crunchy champion: celery. This stalky green doesn't get much attention, but it should. Celery is what we call a natural diuretic. That means it encourages your body to release extra salt and water, but gently, not in a way that makes your bladder work overtime. When consumed in the morning or early afternoon, celery helps your kidneys offload what they need to long before you hit the pillow. And because celery contains both sodium and potassium in just the right ratio, it helps your body maintain balance without triggering the cycle of overhydration and urgent elimination. I once worked with a woman named Teresa. She was 81, stubborn, and swore she'd never drink another glass of water again after 5 p.m. until she discovered celery juice. Nothing fancy, just 2 stalks blended with water and a squeeze of lemon. She drank it at 10 a.m. 3 times a week. And you know what? Within a month, she was only waking up once per night instead of 4. And more than that, she felt less puffy in the mornings, less heavy in her joints. That's the magic of fluid balance done right. These vegetables don't work overnight. They work with your body's rhythms, gently encouraging better function, lower inflammation, and less internal pressure. They don't force change, they invite it. And in a world where so much of aging feels like a battle, that quiet cooperation can feel like a blessing. So the next time you walk through your kitchen, take a second look at what's already there. Pumpkin, cucumber, celery. Not miracle cures, but allies. Because sometimes healing starts with the simplest of things: a seed, a slice of stalk, all supporting you quietly while you sleep. Now that we've touched on how pumpkin and cucumbers can naturally help you sleep through the night, let's explore the next vegetables that continue this quiet work inside your body. One of the most overlooked yet powerful allies in this journey toward better bladder control is celery. You might not think much of it beyond a crunch in your chicken salad or a stick in your soup pot, but for seniors struggling with nighttime urgency, celery is a green stick of balance and support. Celery has a natural diuretic quality, which may sound counterintuitive at first. You might be thinking, wait, I'm trying to pee less and not more. But here's the thing, celery helps your body release excess fluid earlier in the day. That means your kidneys can do their work when you're awake and active instead of during the night when you're trying to rest. Unlike pharmaceutical diuretics, which often come with side effects like dehydration or potassium loss, celery works gently. It doesn't yank water from your body. It encourages your natural rhythm to flow when it's most convenient. What makes celery so special isn't just its water content, but the balance of minerals it brings. Celery contains natural sodium in harmony with potassium. This is important because sodium on its own causes fluid retention, and the body often tries to rid itself of that extra fluid overnight. That's why people who eat salty dinners often find themselves waking up more to urinate. But with celery, the potassium helps offset that effect. It tells your kidneys, we're balanced now. You can relax. Sononom. There was a man named Walter, age 76, who I remember talking to after a local wellness talk. He said he started adding 2 stalks of celery to his lunch each day, nothing fancy, just raw, crunchy celery sticks next to his sandwich. After about 3 weeks, he noticed something that seemed minor but felt huge. He was waking up only once each night instead of 3 or 4 times. And more importantly, he started feeling clearer in the mornings. It wasn't dramatic, he told me, but I wasn't dragging anymore. Celery also helps ease pressure in the belly. As we age, digestion slows down, and even a mild case of bloating or constipation can press on the bladder, causing frequent urges. Celery fiber is gentle, just enough to keep your gut regular without causing cramping. That lightness in the digestive system creates more room for your bladder to expand naturally and operate on its own schedule instead of being poked and prodded by digestive discomfort. One more note on celery, it contains flavonoids, which are plant compounds with natural anti-inflammatory effects. For older adults dealing with irritated bladder linings, this is huge. Calming inflammation in the bladder wall reduces the likelihood of false alarms, those sudden urges that wake you from a deep sleep for no good reason. When inflammation goes down, so does hypersensitivity, and your body becomes better at determining when it really needs to go. Now let's talk about something that might already be in your fridge tonight, green beans. These slender little pods are more than just a bland side dish. They hold within them a powerful combination of minerals and fiber that work behind the scenes to support bladder calm and control. First, green beans are rich in magnesium, a mineral that many seniors are unknowingly low in. Magnesium helps the smooth muscles of the bladder relax. When those muscles are too tense, even a small bit of urine can feel urgent. But when they're relaxed, your bladder holds more and more comfortably and lets you sleep longer without that middle of the night pressure. And unlike some vegetables that have high oxalate levels, which can irritate the urinary tract like spinach or beets, green beans are low in oxalates. That means they soothe rather than stimulate. They also bring a mild, steady water content. Not enough to overhydrate you if eaten in the evening, but enough to help your kidneys stay active and efficient throughout the day. This is key. It's not about cutting off all fluids or drying out your system. It's about helping your body regulate better. There was an elderly woman named Jeanette who emailed me after a community class. She said she began adding a cup of steamed green beans to her dinner 3 times a week. That's it, no radical diet changes, no supplements. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. without interruption for the first time in years. She wrote, I didn't even notice it right away. I just realized one morning I felt rested and couldn't remember getting up. Now, isn't that what we're all aiming for? Not some dramatic overnight miracle, but a return to a rhythm that lets your body heal itself slowly and reliably. That's the beauty of green beans. They don't shout their benefits, they whisper them in the background, one quiet night at a time. Next, let's move to the last vegetable in our lineup, one that has earned its reputation as a superfood, but not for the reasons you may think when it comes to bladder health. We're going to explore that next. And this brings us to the 5th and final vegetable. And it's one that often gets overlooked because of its simplicity. But don't let its common appearance fool you. This vegetable plays a quiet, steady role in reducing bladder irritation, supporting kidney health, and promoting more restful sleep. I'm talking about carrots. Yes, humble carrots. They're not exotic. They're not expensive. But what they do inside your body, especially for those of us over 60, is quietly remarkable. Carrots are rich in antioxidants, particularly beta-carotene, which the body converts to vitamin A. And vitamin A isn't just for your eyes, it plays a critical role in supporting the mucus linings of the bladder and urinary tract. You see, as we age, those linings can become thinner, more prone to irritation, and more easily inflamed. That inflammation doesn't always come with pain, but it does come with urgency. That feeling of, I just went, but I need to go again, even if your bladder isn't full. What carrots do, especially when eaten regularly, is help soothe those irritated linings and strengthen their resilience. There's also a hidden benefit many folks don't talk about. Carrots support liver detoxification, and while that may seem unrelated, it actually ties back into your bladder health. The liver is your body's filtration system, and when it's overloaded, the kidneys and bladder often pick up the slack. That can mean more fluid shifts, more urgency, and more nighttime disruptions. But when your liver is working well, when it's getting the nutrients it needs, like those found in carrots, everything downstream functions better. Now let me share a quick story. I once spoke to a gentleman named Harold. He was 76 active and generally healthy, but he told me he was waking up 2 to 3 times a night, sometimes more, and it was wearing him down. He wasn't ready for prescription meds and he wasn't sure food could really help. But we made one small change. He started having a cup of steamed carrots with his dinner 4 nights a week. Within 3 weeks, Harold said something shifted. It was like my body was resting more deeply, he told me. He still went to the bathroom once a night, but the panic, the sense of sudden urgency was gone. I actually fall back asleep now, he said, and that's changed everything. Here's what makes carrots especially useful. They're easy on the stomach, low in natural sugars, and blend well with nearly every meal. You can roast them, steam them, blend them into soups, or even shred them into salads. The key, though, is consistency. One carrot won't change your bladder overnight, but regular intake, especially in the evening meal, can work like a steady drip of calm through your system. And if you're someone who likes variety, try combining carrots with some of the other vegetables we've talked about today. A warm side dish of roasted carrots and green beans, a cucumber and carrot salad at lunch, or a hearty soup with pumpkin, celery, and carrots. The possibilities are simple and healing. Let's take a breath here, because I know how frustrating this issue can be. Waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night doesn't just leave you tired, it chips away at your joy. It affects your balance, your memory, your patience. And it's easy to feel like nothing will help, that this is just part of getting older. But that's the message I want to challenge today. Because aging doesn't mean surrender. It doesn't mean giving up on sleep or peace or a bladder that works with you, not against you. Sometimes the answers aren't flashy. They're not in pills or procedures. They're in your kitchen, in the habits you build one small step at a time. So let's quickly bring this all together, not as a recap, but as a reminder of what's possible. Pumpkin helps soothe the bladder lining and reduce urgency with fiber, magnesium, and anti-inflammatory compounds. Cucumber cools and calms your urinary tract, especially when eaten earlier in the day, easing the need to wake up overnight. Celery gently helps your body flush fluid during the daytime, lightening the load on your bladder by bedtime. Green beans relax the muscles of your bladder, reduce bloating, and are one of the easiest vegetables for seniors to digest. And carrots. They quietly strengthen the bladder lining, support your liver, and help everything work together a little more smoothly. None of these are overnight fixes, but together over time they build a foundation, a body that's calmer, a bladder that's steadier, a night that's quieter. If you've ever felt like your body was working against you, if you've ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., exhausted and frustrated, I want you to remember this: your body still wants to heal. It still wants balance. It just needs the right tools. And that's what food can be. Not just fuel, but a partner, a quiet ally, a way to give your body the support it's been asking for, without side effects, without dependency, and without giving up on yourself. So here's what I invite you to do. Pick just one vegetable from today's video and add it to your next meal. Not a huge change, just one. Notice how it makes you feel. Give it a week, then try another. Let your body teach you what it responds to. And while you're on that journey, know this: you're not alone. There are thousands of others watching this video who are walking the same path. Share your story in the comments. Let us know what worked for you. And if you found even one helpful insight today, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue creating content that uplifts, informs, and empowers. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm proud of you for taking your health into your own hands, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, rest, well, stay kind to yourself, and here's to waking up refreshed at any age.